Okay, so let's get right into it. Have you ever just stopped and wondered how your computer, this amazingly complicated machine, actually works? Because deep down, at its very core, everything it's doing, from showing you this right now to sending a quick email, it all comes down to a super simple but incredibly powerful language. A language made of just two numbers, 1 and 0. It sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? I mean, how can the beautiful, rich colors in a photograph, or the sound of your favorite song, or even just the words you're reading, how can all of that be built from something so basic? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack right now. To really get how computers pull this off, you first have to think about how we communicate. You know, we've got thousands of sounds and symbols to share all sorts of complex ideas. Computers needed their own system, a way to translate our messy, complicated world into their incredibly simple language. And this really shows you the massive difference we're talking about. We humans can recognize this incredible variety of symbols. Computers, though, they're actually super simple. They only see two states, on or off. We just call that 1 and 0. And while that seems like a huge limitation, it's actually their greatest strength, because it's a language with absolutely no confusion. So the first challenge was, how do you translate our world into that perfectly simple code? So the first piece of this whole puzzle is numbers. I mean, if a computer can figure out a way to represent any number you can possibly imagine using only ones and zeros, then we're really getting somewhere. And that is exactly what the binary number system is all about. You know, we use the decimal system, or base 10, most likely because we have 10 fingers. It makes sense, right? When we count up to 9 and need to go to the next number, we just add a new column, the tens place, and start over. Well, binary, or base 2, works on the exact same idea. But since it only has two digits, 0 and 1, it has to add a new column way more often. And this just lays it out perfectly. In our everyday decimal system, the place values are all powers of 10. You got the ones place, the tens, the hundreds, and so on. In binary, the place values are powers of 2. So you have the ones place, then the twos place, the fours place, the eights place. You see the pattern? It just keeps doubling. Okay, so let's actually try it with the number 26. All we have to do is ask a bunch of yes or no questions. Can 16 fit into 26? Yep. So we put a 1 in the 16's place. That leaves us with 10. Can 8 fit into 10? Yes, it can, so that's another 1. Now we've got 2 left over. Can 4 fit into 2? Nope, that's a 0. How about 2 into 2? Yes, that's a 1. And with nothing left, the ones place gets a 0. And there you have it, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0. That's 26 in binary. Simple as that. All right, so let's keep building on this. Now that we can represent any number, what about the next big challenge? Text. I mean, how does a computer have any idea what the letter A is, or the @ symbol, or even just a plain old space? Well, this problem was solved with a totally brilliant and simple idea called ASCII. The easiest way to think of it is as a universal dictionary that pretty much every computer in the world has agreed to use. It just assigns a unique number to every single letter, digit, and symbol you could type. So, for instance, when you type a lowercase a, the computer doesn't see a letter. Nope. It looks up A in its ASCII dictionary and sees the number 97. And because it's a pro at binary, it instantly translates 97 into that string of ones and zeros. 0110001. Every single character has its own unique code, just like this. Now, these individual little ones and zeros, they have a name. Each one is called a bit. But you can imagine dealing with them one at a time would be pretty slow and inefficient. So computers like to group them together. A standard group of 8 bits is what we call a byte. And that's kind of the fundamental chunk of information your computer is usually working with. Okay, so we've got numbers, we've got text, but what about all the rich media that really makes our digital world come alive? How do these simple bits and bytes team up to create complex pictures and sounds? A digital picture is actually a surprisingly logical thing. It's really just a giant grid of tiny dots, and we call those pixels. Each one of those pixels has a single, very specific color. Now, that color is created by just mixing different amounts of red, green, and blue light. The brightness level for each of those 3 colors is represented by a number, and as we know by now, any number can be turned into binary. You just do that millions of times, and boom, you've got a stunning, high-res photo. And sound gets converted in a really similar way. So in the real world, a sound wave is this continuous, smooth signal. We call that analog.
To turn it into digital ones and zeros, a computer takes thousands of tiny snapshots or samples of that wave every single second. It measures the wave's properties at each of those moments, turns those measurements into numbers, and then stores them as, you guessed it, binary. When you want to play it back, the computer just connects the dots, recreating the wave from all those numbers, and our ears hear it as a perfectly smooth, continuous sound.
So then, what's a video? Well, it's actually just an illusion. It's nothing more than a sequence of still pictures, or frames, that are shown to you really, really fast. A lot of the time, it's 24 frames every single second. Your brain just blends them all together, and you perceive it as smooth motion. You just add a synchronized audio file, and there you have it, a video. Okay, this all sounds great as a concept, but how do ones and zeros actually exist in the real world? Like, how does a physical thing, a device, actually store or send a bit of information?
Well, there are some pretty ingenious ways. On an old CD, a laser shines on the disk's surface. If that light reflects back, the computer reads it as a 1. If the light falls into a microscopic pit that was burned into the disk and doesn't reflect, that's a 0. Inside a modern computer chip, it's all done with electricity. There are billions of tiny little capacitors that can either hold an electrical charge, which represents a 1, or be empty, which represents a 0.
And sending all this data through the air? That's done by piggybacking those ones and zeros onto waves, pretty much exactly like radio works. You've heard of AM and FM, right? Well, in AM, or amplitude modulation, a high wave might represent a 1, and a low wave a 0. With FM, frequency modulation, they do the same thing but by changing how close together the waves are. So maybe a squished high-frequency wave is a 1 and a stretched-out low-frequency wave is a 0. Either way, you're just using a physical property of a wave to stand in for our two simple digits. And what's maybe the most incredible part of all this is the sheer speed. Because these signals are all forms of electromagnetic radiation, just like light itself, this absolute flood of data that represents our pictures, our sounds, our ideas, it can all be beamed around the entire planet at the speed of light. So here's the big takeaway. From the most complex Hollywood movie to the simplest text message, it's all just ones and zeros. It's a universal language for encoding, storing, and sharing pretty much any piece of information we can possibly imagine. And that brings us to a final, pretty deep thought. If all of our digital creations can be boiled down to these simple ones and zeros, what does that really mean for the future of information itself?